the one, the only Benzion. Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. Today's daf is Gittin daf Chavtet number 29. It comes out from most of the daf. The Mishnah actually says it explicitly on Chavtet Amid Aleph that yes, a husband can make a shliach to give a get to his wife. However, that shliach also can make a shliach. The Gemara actually derives this in Maseches Kiddushin, but only this Mishnah clarifies only in certain circumstances when there's an onus. Our Mishnah gives the example of chala. He becomes sick, he goes to the hospital, he can't deliver it to the wife. He can make another shliach. Or another onus happens, a business trip, he has to leave the country, so he can give it to a third person to give it to the wife. And that works, but only in a case of onus. And really, from the Gemara on Chav Tenam and Beis, it emerges that there's another way of doing it. Even if there's no onus happen, if there's a basin involved, if the agent of the husband goes to basin and says, basically, I'm the shliach, basin can take over and make another shliach. Now, what's going on? Why is the first halacha that you can't make another shliach? Really, the Gemara learns that you could make another shliach. In Mizrach's Kiddushin, at least. I think it's by Kiddushin. I think the Gemara applies to the Gerushin also. But why is it only bechala? If the shliach can be in place of the husband, why can't the shliach be in place of the husband? So the answer to this question, I believe, is that the way I explain the shlichus over here in Gittin is very different than shlichus elsewhere in the Torah. Shlichus for a monetary contract or a gift or something like that. There, the whole purpose of the shliach, you could be a non-Jew, it could be a monkey. The point is that you're just accomplishing, and the results are attributed back to the Mishaleach. But here, by Gittin, you have to actually give over the Mishaleach. The husband has to transfer his persona to the Shliach, because the Shliach has to be him to give the get. And Nasan Biyada has to be the husband giving it. He takes on the persona of the husband. Now, once I take on the persona of the husband, can I transfer his persona to a third person? The answer is no. You can't transfer the persona to a third person. The husband has the capability of taking his persona and giving it to another person. But I'm not the owner of this persona. I can give it to a third person. So therefore the Mishnah says there is a provision. If you're sick, then we do allow shliach to make a shliach. But don't think the pshat is that the shliach who makes a second shliach is working like a regular shlichus by gerushin. It's actually not. We had a discussion earlier on Daf Yudal and Ted Vav, whether holich gezachi dami or holich lav gezachi dami. If I say give a get to my wife, right? Does that mean that I'm doing zechia zachin adam shalom b'fanav? There's a concept that if someone's not present, I can pick up a mitzvah for him. I could acquire something he would want. I can do for him, right? The Gemara in Mizrach's Ksuvos talks about based in the mizak that uses zachin adam shalom b'fanav for ger katan, a child who's a ger, the mother is megayer, and he could, based in could go for be in place of the child and be zocher for the child Judaism, by Erev Tavshil, when you just had Shavuos, Erev Tavshilin, right? The rabbi could make an Erev Tavshilin for all the people in the city, or for Erev Chatzeros, the Gemara says. People want to have one be part of the matzah, that's part of the same chatzer. You could be zocher for all the people in your building, even though they're not present. So I believe when the Gemara says chala, it's not working the regular shliach. It's working within zechia. Now zechia, zachan l'mishal b'fanav. If the person's not here, how could I, right? Even as I know he wants it, zachan l'mishal b'fanav. It's zechia. It's a credit for him. It's something he would want. When I acquire something for someone who's not here, right? So as I mentioned, there's two parts. Yesterday, there's two parts of ownership. There's shalom and bershusa. Shalom means physically it's mine. Bershusa means it's my control, discretion. I make decisions about it. So when I'm zachan l'adam shalom b'fanav, the person's not here, so physically I can act as an agent on his behalf, right? There's a question in the Achronim, is zechia midin shlichus, or zechia work a different way? But there's an opinion that zechia is a form of shlichus, right? I can attribute stuff back to him, and maybe I can actually be like yado, like his hands. I could be shalom. Now obviously, I can't be zachan to make it bershuso, because Rishusha means that it's in his discretion, meaning he's the one making the decisions. He doesn't know about it yet, so there's no way it could be Rishusha, but it could be Shalom. So when a husband makes a shliach to give the get, he's giving his persona, meaning not only his Shalom, but also his Rishusha when it comes to the get. He's giving the discretion of giving the get to the shliach. I'm giving over everything. Zechia is not complete like that. Zechia works that is that you could acquire a part of, if we know the person would want it, so I could acquire something, the shalo of the get from the husband. And that's really what happens over here. Unfortunate circumstances, really the Gemara we paskin holich lav kazachida. When I say give a get, we don't assume that I want zechia. We don't assume that I want a person to give the get for me, a different person to give the get for me. We don't assume that way. But unfortunate circumstances, an onus, he gets sick, we assume we want you. Then we do say holich kazachida. And that's why the third person can give the get. Because technically, as I mentioned before, by gerushin, you just need the ma'isa, v'nasan b'yado. You don't need birshusa. You just need shalom. That's all you need. It could work, both shalom and birshusa. I explained, when a husband gives his wife a get, he's relinquishing both the shalom and birshusa over his wife. But technically, you can give a get, v'nasan b'yada. Kasav of v'nasan b'yada is a ma'isa, and the shalom is the important factor over here. So zechia works to at least incorporate the shalom of the husband. That's what's going on over here. The husband really holich lav kazachidam. In unfortunate circumstances, then we would say holich kazachidam. And the Gemara really is basically paskening over here. Most of the time holich lav kazachidam, but unfortunate circumstances, then holich kazachidam. And that's also why Benzion, on Amud Beis, becomes clear. Benzion can step in and make another shliach, even where it's not a situation of onus. Because Benzion could act as zachin ladam shalom b'fanav. Benzion has the capability. They have, Benzion has control over, they're the most reliable source of information we have, and therefore they can step in and take the information from the shliach of the husband and make another shliach, and that's midin zechia, right? Because Benzion has control, has the ability, hefker Benzion hefker, they basically have control over someone's property, so they have control technically in a certain respect over people, over their actions. So through zechia, they can make another shliach. But really, when the Gemara in Mesachas Kedushin said that shliach can make another shliach, it doesn't mean the full shlichus. Like the original shliach is stronger than the other shluchim will come from, because the original shliach has the shalom and reshuso of the mishaleach, of the husband. He has this persona. But the other shluchim do not. They only have the shalom, and only in midin zechia, the husband was zocha, holik kizachi dami, in the case of onus, or Benzion has the ability to do zechia. That's the explanation of this Gemara. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.